I'll never forget the first time I had sperm delivered to my house. Growing up, I always knew I wanted to be a mother. I never gave much thought about how that would happen. I always imagined I would shopping for baby clothes and first day of school clothes, prom dresses and wedding dresses. Shopping for sperm was never on that list. So when I met my wife and we knew we wanted to have a family, we decided that she would carry our baby. We were so excited to move in this direction. And we started shopping for a sperm donor. We knew that we did not want a known donor. We wanted someone who was anonymous. We felt like 2 loving parents was enough for us. We pored over medical records, trying to read between the lines on the nurse's help section comment, on the donor information card, searching for words like handsome and funny and kind. We wanted them to be the perfect blend of the 2 of us. With my wife being Caucasian and me being of mixed race, we wanted to look like a family. So we made our choice, we placed an order, and we waited. The first shipment would come, according to the mom-to-be cycle. So when the UPS delivery pulled up and brought us a 3-foot-tall cardboard box that was about a foot square, we were a little surprised. And inside the box was a tank about this tall, filled with dry ice, 1 ounce of sperm, directions, and a turkey baster. Now, the UPS driver definitely knew who we were by the shipper's address. Nothing says lesbians like cryobank. The first thing we wanted to do was actually learn how we could do this at home. So we did a ton of internet research. And the internet suggested that a woman be relaxed in order for artificial insemination to be successful. Now, we assumed that the internet was suggesting that we show our love for one another in a physical way. But let me tell you, there is absolutely nothing romantic about defrosting 1 ounce of sperm in your armpit for 15 minutes while giggling like a woman with sperm in her armpit. I'm gonna say we laughed a lot and we hoped for the best. That first time didn't work. It was hard for me because I was the optimistic partner. I was supportive. I was here as the cheerleader. And my wife, this was her body. And so while I was holding on to this intense optimism, she had so much disappointment. We tried 3 cycles at home in this way to get pregnant unsuccessfully, and some of them didn't actually happen at home. There was one time where we had a family wedding, and it was in Rochester, New York. So we had our delivery, and we packed it up in the back seat of the car and buckled it in, figuring it was good practice for a car seat someday, and we drove to Rochester, New York, 8 hours with sperm in the back seat. To complicate things more, my aunt had adjoining rooms with us on that trip. So while Carolyn had her legs up the wall with her cervix tilted at just the right angle so that the swimmers could do their thing for 15 minutes, my aunt began knocking on the door asking, could she borrow our hairspray? And oh, by the way, your cousin doesn't like her hair, can you please fix it? We thought for sure we would get pregnant right away. We had couple friends that had gotten pregnant immediately, right out of the gate. One came home on lunch and got pregnant, doing the same thing we did, and then went back to work. But for us, we weren't so lucky. So we decided we would visit the Boston-based clinic that had a long history of supporting the Lgbtq community. This was gonna double our cost. As it stood, with what we were doing, the cost of our specimen, including delivery, was $600, which was about half of our monthly mortgage payment. But we weren't thinking about the logistics of having a mortgage and having endless amounts of student loan debt that was never gonna go away and no savings account. We were ready to become mummy and mama. So when we moved on to the clinic, we knew our cost would double and we would have to travel in one day and then the next day. It was about an hour from our home each way. We did that 12 times. And each time I tried to hold on to that optimism and be that supportive partner and say, it's going to be great. This might be the time. And each time my wife endured that crushing disappointment. At this point, it had been about 3 years since we had started. And she looked at me and said, batter up. So I made an appointment and I went to go see the fertility doctor, as I've always had an inconsistent cycle, and it was found that I would need help in order to get pregnant. Of course I did. So we started that process. We had gone through multiple donor selections at this point, and we started the process, and I got pregnant right away, and was pregnant for a couple of weeks. And then the second time didn't work, and on the third time, I was 34 years old. I gave birth to our son. We were in love with him. We are in love with him. And we were in love with our lives. It was 2008. It was kind of a big year. And the biggest question we had on our minds now was, do we do it again? Do we try for a second? So we went back and forth, and we decided Carolyn would try again. So we went to the fertility clinic, and it took exploratory surgery and 2 rounds of IVF. And at 36 years old, she gave birth to our daughter. It was a long road for us. It took about 4 years. There was so much laughter and so much disappointment. And I can't say that I wouldn't change parts of my journey to motherhood, but I can say I would never want to journey motherhood without my wife, Carolyn. Thank you.